Hi everyone, Rob Milligan here, and welcome to Prescott's Animal Corner. It's a new show where we're going to be focusing on our four-legged, our two-legged, and sometimes even no-legged friends here in the Prescott area. For this first episode, we're here at the Yavapai Humane Society. I've got Elisabeth who's waiting for me inside, and we're going to go in and she's going to show us the different areas and the different animals that call this place home. So Elisabeth, the Humane Society is a large place, so where are we exactly here?
We are in the adoption center of our main campus here at the bottom of the Prescott Lakes Parkway. And we're sort of in the hub of where everything takes place when an animal is finally going to their forever home. So we've got a great team of adoptions counselors here, and they do a lot of matchmaking all day long, and the process ends here. So this is their final stop before a pet goes to their new forever home.
Great. So what kind of pets do we have to adopt here?
Well, here at this campus we have cats and dogs, and then of course we have an equine center that's located in Chino Valley, and those are horses looking for their forever homes too.
Awesome. So I am a huge cat lover, so let's start in the cat area.
Great.
And let's show me around.
Okay, let's head into Betty's Cattery.
Ooh, I like it already.
Overall, we have capacity to care for 112 cats here on this side of our adoptions campus. And we're in the cattery right now, and you can see all these beautiful condos. Something that's kind of neat about these condos that I'll point out to you is that they're adjoining. And so when we have additional capacity, when it's sort of a calmer season, we can open these condos so that cats have more space. And then when we're in a busier season, for instance, our kitten season, which is every spring and summer, we can close these off so that we have more capacity to care for the cats. And what's nice about these is you'll see, we call these our portholes. This is an area where the cat can climb into and sort of get away, and it's calm and it's quiet and dark. So again, whatever we can do to lower the stress levels for animals when they're in the shelter environment, we're going to do that measure. You'll notice something that's kind of neat here is that we have adoption kennel cards for every animal who's looking for their home. And we'll put out as much information as we know about the cat. So for instance, we've got Pumpkin here. Pumpkin's doing a little grooming.
Oh yeah, don't mind us, Pumpkin.
Yes, Pumpkin is about 2 years old, and Pumpkin was surrendered to us. He's a male cat. We put all the information so we know that Pumpkin is not declawed. He's an indoor cat, and he's good with adults. We're not quite sure about other ages, so we put what we know. His vocalization level is medium, so he's going to talk to his new owner every once in a while. And then he's got medium energy level, so he'll probably do some of this, some grooming, and then he'll probably play a little as well. I'd be happy to show you the rest of our cattery here. Something I'll point out is our cat condos. So these are colony rooms, and we will put cats in together into this space, either when they come in together as a group, or maybe if they seem a little lonely in the single condos and they need some companionship. So these are our cat colony rooms. Right now we have Sweetie and Lois. This is a mother and daughter combo. You know, sometimes it's great if you can adopt two cats because they give each other companionship and they sort of have this bond. I would say especially kittens are great to adopt in pairs because again, they teach each other the rules. How hard is too hard to bite? When you want to be left alone. So it's that socialization that's really good for them. And we have a thing called the buddy system here at the shelter. So if you adopt one cat, you can adopt a second without the adoption fee.
Oh, great, okay.
Yeah, it's good for them to be together. So.
Well, and you don't want to break up a mother and daughter.
Well, it depends. You know, there's always sort of a behavior assessment. And usually that is us humans. We often think of our own emotions when it comes to family pairs like that. But animals are a little different. And so it depends on the behavior. You know, sometimes we'll get two dogs in that are a mother and a daughter, or maybe brothers. And one will rely on the other. And what happens is this dog doesn't learn how to be confident and independent until they're actually separated, and both dogs are better when they're not paired like that. It's counterintuitive for us humans because we project our emotions on that kind of thing, but it really depends on the animal and their personality and what they need as far as behavior treatment. We have some volunteers here socializing our
Yeah,
cats.
I noticed that. I actually saw a laser pointer, and I know it caught the cat's eye, but it also caught my eye too.
So we could not do the work that we're doing here at the Humane Society without the support of our amazing volunteer team. Overall, we've got about 115 volunteers, and they're doing everything that our staff does, from socializing cats, cleaning the animal care areas, helping with adoptions. They do it all. We really need their help.
I am super jealous of these volunteers right now.
You know what? Come and join the team. We are looking for volunteers all the time. It's a pretty simple and easy process. You come and you learn about the organization and what we do. And then you choose the team that you'd like to be a part of, whether that's our cat team, our dog walking team. We also have non-animal related activities. We have a lot of folks who want to help, but don't think that they have the strength of emotions to get through this very sensitive area. So we've got places that you can help that don't directly interact with the animals, like our spay, neuter, and wellness clinic and our thrift store.
Yeah, it's interesting watching them work, and they're working, but they're playing with the cat, they're loving the cats, and
yeah,
that's great to see.
There are lots of studies that show that companionship with animals increases the health of a person.
Exactly,
as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so people who have an animal are 40% less at risk for heart disease. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
It lowers blood pressure, animal companionship. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship here. Sometimes we do get purebred animals through the shelter, but we'll never say that unless they're papered. So it's important to just be transparent when we're looking for new homes for these animals. So Diesel in particular is a Lab Retriever mix. Let's take a look at his dog to dog. So he likes to have a hangout buddy, but he's picky about who that is. So that will have a lot to do with how he's introduced to a new dog. That chemistry, there's a right way to introduce a new dog, there's a wrong way to introduce a new dog. So with the right introduction, with the right dog, Diesel's gonna love that company. What's helpful is that we sometimes have our volunteers who will give us a little more insight. So if they see another personality when maybe the dog's outside, they let us know that, and it helps us learn more about them. This blue here means that he has received some rehabilitation for his behavior, probably for when he's a little more reserved in his interaction.
Yeah, I noticed that it's kind of almost been erased a little bit, that he's not as
so as the
reserved
animals change, we sort of adjust what we know about them. Sometimes the longer a dog is in the shelter, maybe after they've been here for a week, they'll really start to relax and come to life. They're not so scared of where am I and where's my people. Sometimes the longer an animal is here, the more stressed they become. So it really, like you said, pets are kind of like people in that way, where they have different personalities and different needs, and they kind of all react to stress a little differently. Maybe when you react to stress, you don't eat. When I react to stress, I eat too much. So pets are like people in that way. I remember you wondering how we came up with our animals' names here, like Diesel's.
Is it that he looks like a diesel, or?
I know, he's not built too much like a tank.
I know, that's what I was wondering. I was like,
if an animal comes in with a name, we keep that name. So if Diesel was surrendered with his name Diesel, we're not going to change it. Again, whatever we can do to create consistency for an animal. So if they're used to being called a certain thing, we don't want to just stop that. Now, if an animal comes in as a stray and doesn't have a name, our lost and found staff actually makes a name for them. And sometimes we have to get pretty creative. They've got a book of names that they can go to. Other days they'll pick a theme, like a Disney theme, and everyone will come out with names like Simba and Mufasa and Rafiki. So it really depends on what's going on, if the animal has a name or not, and if we're feeling particularly creative that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered that, and I always, as an owner, I always have trouble, like, giving a pet a name. I
know, it's hard. So yeah, our team really does have to kind of put their thinking caps on and come up with something fun. But we try to keep a sense of consistency here. So with our volunteers, what we do is we actually train them to say yes and no. So yes for positive behaviors, no for negative behaviors, and then accompany that with a good boy or a good girl. This is a really common terminology for pet owners, so if they go home, their new owner is likely to say that as well. It's likely that they've heard that in their former home, so it's something they're familiar with. So again, whatever we can do to create a sense of consistency, that helps a lot with training and it helps lower the stress. You'll notice the other measure that we take to reduce stress is the music that we have piping through our kennels here.
Yeah, this is Bach, I think.
That's right. It's very calming, and whatever we can do to just keep a calm and peaceful environment, we do that measure. So music for the dogs is one of the calming measures that we take for our enrichment program.
Okay, well, Diesel, I'm sorry to...
He's going to want you to take him out on a walk now.
I would love to take Diesel for a walk.
We'll get you trained and then you can run.
Okay, there we go.
We are about to enter our shelter clinic. This is a full-site animal hospital, so we're doing everything from simple spay and neuter surgeries to full-blown intensive orthopedic surgeries and dental surgeries. So we do it all here. If an animal is in need, they're going to get taken care of right here.
All right, let's go inside. With me right now, I've got Christine Campbell. She's the Director of Medical Services here. So, Christine, thank you for giving us this little time to talk about. It's interesting that there's a lot going on in this area of the building.
There is. This building was built in roughly 1972, so when you look around you can tell it's been kind of cobbled onto. This was an exterior and then that was added on as something else. So we've made a lot happen in a little teeny space. We have full digital x-ray machine. We have the latest state-of-the-art blood machines for running complete blood chemistries, and we have surgical tables, wet tables right behind you.
Oh.
We have a state-of-the-art dental machine, which you'll find in your top-end clinics. We also have, it's called a Nomad digital dental x-ray generator. It's portable. So even though our building is very old, we have state-of-the-art equipment, and we can do anything that private practice can do, all the way up to orthopedics, emergency surgeries. We were just doing x-rays for a potential foreign body, and we have an amputation waiting. So those are the things slated for the clinic probably later in the week.
Now, this is before we do, or before they get to the adoption area, correct?
Well, we have a variety of ways that they might arrive to us. We have the other side, we have what's called the intake clinic, where we have clinic staff evaluate everything that comes in. They get a physical exam, they get all their vaccines, and that way they're just kind of triaged to where they would go within the facility. So if it's already been spayed, already been neutered, we'll give it its vaccine, health check, and it'll go to the floor. If it hasn't been spayed and neutered, it will be slated for a surgery and come here. And in the case of the cat that animal control just brought us, the leg is broken, necrotic, and needs to be removed, so it comes right to clinic to await surgery as soon as possible. So it really depends on how the animals came in, if they end up here or not. But they all are checked in. Every single one is checked in by a veterinary technician.
Okay. So what's in this room? Can we go in here?
Sure. This is our kind of our surgical area. So this here, this is a wet table. So this is where we would do prep for surgeries. We have anesthesia machines. We have monitoring for pulse oximetry, heart rate, respirations. There is a hot dog blanket warmer, so during procedures that might take a while, the animals stay warm. If it's for a spay or a neuter, we'll just go ahead and shave here, prep it, and then we'll come into the surgical area, and the surgery will actually happen right here. We have monitors, oxygen, everything that you would need. And if there's blood work over there, is our state-of-the-art IDEX blood machines that were kindly donated by the Schuermans, who are regular donors, and goodwill and donors is what keeps us going here, and they were kind enough to donate those very expensive blood machines. So that's part of what we do for diagnostics that would allow us to save more lives. Just having those blood machines alone probably have saved hundreds of lives.
That's great to hear. So where are we now, Elizabeth?
We are in one of our behavior treatment areas. So this is an enrichment space for the dogs that are here at the shelter. Again, our enrichment program is a program intended to help dogs deal with the stress that they find themselves in being in a shelter environment. So there are a lot of different things that we do to help these dogs cope. We talked about the music and how it's sort of peaceful for them. The other thing we do is give them something to do with a healthy obsession of treats. So these are actually little doggy popsicles that our behaviorists make. And they switch up the flavors. This is actually some good food at the bottom here, a little water, and then a milk bone in here. So again, it's something that is sort of distracting to them, keeps their mind occupied, keeps them busy. So we will go ahead and make these treats. We've also got some indestructible toys here, and we've got the Kongs. You probably have noticed or have seen these before.
I have seen those, yeah.
So these are indestructible toys. You can see this one's gotten chewed up nice and good. But what's great is that pieces can't break off of this that could lodge inside an animal. So Christine in our clinic today, she's actually working on a possible foreign body in the dog's stomach. So when we use toys like this that are indestructible, we take that risk away, but we still give them something enriching to do. So we actually stuff these with treats, peanut butter that doesn't have xylitol in it. Xylitol is a sugar and it's toxic to animals. So we take peanut butter that doesn't have that, or different wet food, and put it in here and put it in our freezer, freeze them and distribute them to the dogs and give them something to do. And we also have toys. And they're for supervised use with our volunteers and behaviorists. So again, this is not something that we're going to leave into the kennel by themselves, because a piece like this could get chewed off and break, and we really don't want to be doing surgery in these animals. They are already trying to get their home. We don't need to slow that down by having a foreign body and then requiring surgery.
Right.
So, but anything we can do to keep them busy, you'll see behind you are some treadmills.
I did notice that, yeah.
That's not for you, those are actually for the dogs.
Okay, because I do kind of need a bit of a workout.
I love it.
So.
No, they're not for you, but you can come and use them if you'd like to, Rob.
Okay, good.
These treadmills are here for our dogs that are very active and really need to work that energy off. To where our nice walks with our volunteers, that's not quite enough. They really need to work off that energy. So this would be a super active and intelligent breed. Something like a border collie would need this. We've actually had dogs that part of their behavior treatment here while they're at the shelter is a mile a day on our treadmill. And they learn how to use it really quickly. They hop on, they enjoy it. Again, it's something for them to really apply themselves to while they're here in the shelter environment.
Cool. So now you were talking about the treats. Can I get a treat to maybe give to one of the animals?
Absolutely. Here you go. Let's do it.
Okay, great. I'm really excited about this. So I've got Gemma here, and we're gonna do a real quick thing with Gemma. So Gemma, sit. Good girl. So we are here probably in, I would guess, everyone's favorite area of the Humane Society, the kitten area, or the kitten corner.
The Kitten Nursery.
The Kitten Nursery, there we go.
Yes, these are kittens that are waiting for their spay or neuter surgeries. As you know, we spay and neuter every animal before they are rehomed. And so these kittens have just gotten old enough, so they'll be getting their surgery this week. An animal needs to be 8 weeks or at least 2 pounds before they have their spay or neuter surgery. So these little guys are just about that time. Once they have their surgery, then they will have their vaccinations that they can have, and they'll be ready for adoption. We also have a cat observation area, and that's for us to get to know the cats that come into us better. So cats show their true colors a little bit more slowly than dogs. So if we're not exactly sure why a cat is behaving a certain way, maybe it's not eating a lot, or we can't tell if it's eating and, not sure what that diet looks like, we'll put them in the observation room and get to know them a little better, understand their needs, their behaviors, their health, and that lets us provide for them better. The other room that we have in this building is our cat isolation area. I didn't show you, but we also have a dog isolation area. And of course, these areas are very important to an animal shelter because we want to make sure if a disease pops up it doesn't spread at all.
Okay, so we're here at our last place today, and Elisabeth, where exactly are we?
This is our Lost and Found Pet Center, so it's part of the Humane Society's main campus. This is the area where an animal's journey through our shelter begins. So we're contracted with animal control agencies of Prescott Valley, and Yavapai County. So they are bringing animals to us that are either strays or seized. Then we also have animals that come to us that are surrendered by their families who can no longer care for them. So that's how animals come to us. What happens here is that we get as much information about the pet as we can from the owner, and then the animal immediately goes into a medical assessment. So that's the first stage of our intake process. Now, for an animal that's stray and they're here because they're lost, we have a couple of processes that we do to try to find the family. So if an animal has identification, they're here for 5 days. That identification can be a tag or it can be a microchip, and we scan every animal that comes in for a microchip. So if an animal has one of those forms of ID, we're going to put it on a stray hold for 5 days while we search for the owner. We use lots of tools like Craigslist, Facebook, and we also take lost pet reports by the public. So we actually return over 700 animals to their owners each year.
Oh, wow.
It's nearly half of all of the stray animals that come into us. So we work really hard on that, and we're really proud of that because, of course, that's the best outcome for an animal if they're lost, is to go home with their rightful owner. Now, if an animal has not had any sort of identification and they're lost, we'll hold them for 3 days looking for their owners. If they haven't been claimed in that time period, then they move on to a behavior assessment. This is the stage where we're learning about the dog's personality, the cat's personality, so we're putting them through a number of different tests to see how they do. For example, we'll have their interaction with a dog, we'll have their interaction while we take food away to see if they have any food aggression. It's a great time to just get a glimpse of what the animal might be like. Now, we take all this with sort of a grain of salt because this is an unfamiliar environment for an animal. So if they present a certain behavior, we want to let that kind of continue and see if that's consistent or if they're just under a lot of stress at that moment. So we try to keep all those things in consideration. After they're done with that medical assessment, that behavior assessment, then they'll move on in their journey in the shelter and go over to the clinic, which we toured for their spay or neuter surgery.
Great. So you have a kennel in the Lost and Found section alone?
Oh, yes. So we actually have 60 dog kennels in here, and we have 14 cat kennels too. So with our contracts, we leave a number of them open for animal control. They actually have access to this building. So if someone finds a lost pet at night and they can't keep them overnight, they can actually call animal control. Animal control will pick the animal up and bring them here, and they'll be safe in our kennels until we can look for the owner.
That must be a bit of a surprise when you come in every morning and be like, oh, there's another dog here.
New one,
like,
yeah.
okay.
You know, we really appreciate that partnership with animal control because it's beneficial for them to not have to staff an operation like this. And it's beneficial for us because they give us all the information that we need about the animal. And of course, they're in charge of enforcement too. So if a citizen is concerned about an animal's well-being, animal control is the group they call. And then if the animal needs to come to safety, here is where they come and we take care of them.
Okay, great. So I think we're going to go into the kennel real quick and meet a couple of more animals. And let's take a look.
Do it. The good thing to know is about half of these guys are going to go back to their families because of the work that we're doing.
Right. Well, Elisabeth, thank you so much for inviting us out here for this nice little tour. And I've got two little friends now that they just, hey little guys, how are you doing? So this is our first episode of Prescott's Animal Corner, and we'll be back next time where we go to the Heritage Park Zoo, and hopefully they'll have some cats that I can play with, or that'll want to play with me. So Tune in next time, and we'll see you later for Prescott's Animal Corner.